loves! It's Eleanor, the Crochet Fairy, here to tutorial you on this beauty, the Beck's Bustier top. And it's a made-to-measure pattern, so it's plus-size friendly. It's made off of your own body measurements. This is my first time giving a tutorial for one of my tops. It's a little more complicated than my previous video tutorials. You can also purchase the written pattern, which the link is in the description of the video below. I'm out of breath. I'm very excited. I hope you enjoy this, and if you have any questions throughout the process, feel free to leave a comment for me and I will get back to you as soon as possible. All right, let's get started. For materials, you are going to need a darning needle, measuring tape, that one's really important for this project, scissors, 5mm hook. I personally like to use Clover Amore hooks, they're my absolute favorite, and some category 4 yarn. Today I'll be using some scrap acrylic yarn that I found in my stash. To start, go ahead and make a slip knot. And I want you to chain by yarning over and pulling through. Chain an even amount, equal to the length you want your top to be when folded in half. So I check this by laying it over my shoulder where the strap should be as pictured. I ended up chaining a total of 116 to reach my desired length. Be sure to write down or keep note of whatever amount you chained for later reference. So to start row 1, we're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So that would be 1, 2, you're going to insert your hook, yarn over, pull through. You should have 2 loops on your hook. From this point, yarn over, pull through both loops. And you're going to do that in every single chain all the way down. So insert your hook in the next chain, yarn over, pull through. You should have 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both loops. And you're just going to keep doing that until you make it all the way down to the very end. Once you've single crocheted in the final chain of your row, go ahead and turn your work. No chain 1 necessary. Okay, just turn your work. Next, we're going to do a stacked single crochet in the first stitch, the very last one that we did. And to do a stacked single crochet, go ahead and do a single crochet in there, which is you insert your hook into the specified stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And now, instead of single crocheting into the next stitch right here like we normally would, we're going to go directly into the side of the one that we just made right here. So insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And see how it made a tall stitch? That's because it's 2 single crochets stacked on top of each other. If this is too difficult, you can go ahead and do a chain 2 at the beginning of your row instead of a stacked single crochet. I just personally think that this looks more neat. Alright, after you do your stacked single crochet, go ahead and chain 1. You are going to skip the next stitch, this one here, and double crochet into the next stitch after that. So to double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through. You're going to have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 of them. Now you're going to have 2 left, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, you're going to chain 1, skip one of the stitches, and double crochet into the next one right there. To double crochet, yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, pull through. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And you are going to continue this chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next stitch, all the way down your row, creating these little squares as you go until you reach the very end, and you should end with a double crochet stitch. Once you've double crocheted in the final stitch of your work, go ahead and turn your project. and single crochet directly into the first stitch. So you insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. You're going to also single crochet in this space right here and in the next stitch. And you are just going to keep doing this all the way across in every single space and in every single stitch. Put 1 single crochet. Once you've single crocheted in the final stitch of your row, go ahead and turn your work. And we're going to do a stacked single crochet in the first stitch, or you can chain 2 if that's easier for you. So again, for the stacked single crochet, you just single crochet in that, and then single crochet in the side of the one that you just made. Then we're going to double crochet in the next stitch, double crochet in every single stitch across until the end of your row. After double crocheting in the final stitch of this row, go ahead and turn your work, and you are just going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way across. Once you've finished single crocheting all the way across, go ahead and turn your work, stacked single crochet or a chain 2 if that's what you've been doing. We are going to double crochet in the next several stitches of our work, ending with an uneven amount when you include the stacked single crochet. And you're going to do this until you've crocheted a solid portion of double crochet long enough to cover your bust area. I check this by laying it over my shoulder where the strap should be, making sure I have enough double crochet to pass my bust area. The straps will stretch a little over time, so I cover about 1 to 2 inches above where I want my neckline to end up. And again, make sure that this is an uneven total amount of double crochet, including the stacked single crochet. I did a total of 33 double crochet, including the stacked single crochet. So it would have been 32, but including the stacked single crochet, I'm at 33, which is an uneven amount. And then I'm going to chain 1, skip the next stitch, and double crochet in the next stitch. And I'm going to do this all the way across until I reach the very end of this row. After double crocheting in your final stitch, go ahead and turn your row. Now you're going to go ahead and single crochet in each stitch and in each chain 1 space across. Right. Once you have finished single crocheting in the final stitch of your row, this will be the end of the shoulder strap, unless you would like a thicker strap, which is recommended for plus size, in which case you are going to double crochet the entire next row, then come back with a row of single crochet. Then you're going to double crochet the same amount that you did here for the bust, and then mesh the rest of the way across and do another row of single crochet. So basically you're going to repeat all of these, you're going to repeat the last 4 rows that you did if you want to make a thicker shoulder strap. If you don't, and this is the appropriate size strap for you, then we are going to go ahead and move on with the pattern, in which case we are going to do a stacked single crochet in the first stitch of our row. double crochet in the next stitch and across, stopping once you reach the amount of double crochet you did for your bust coverage or your front coverage. So basically we're going to stop when we make it to this point here, once we get to the mesh. So for me that's going to be 33 stitches total, including the stacked single crochet stitch. Once you've crocheted the amount equal to your bust coverage portion, so for me that was 33 stitches including the stacked single crochet from the beginning, go ahead and turn your work. And we are going to single crochet in the first stitch and across. After your final single crochet, go ahead and turn your work. And we are going to continue repeating the rows of double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, single crochet until we have the amount that we need for our bust portion. And you are going to need to end on a double crochet row, which means that your work should be up here, but you need to have an uneven amount of double crochet rows. So right now I have 1. I would not be able to end on 4 or 6 or 8. It would have to be, 3, 5, 7. So yeah, make sure that you end on a double crochet row, which means your hook should be up here at this corner for the bust portion, not at the bottom. And the amount of double crochet rows that you have needs to be uneven. I am back and I've completed my bust portion. I have done an uneven total number of double crochet rows, and I ended my last row on a double crochet row. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And to calculate how many rows I should have done, I placed, as pictured in the picture to the side, I placed the strap over my shoulder. And then it's okay for a little side boob to be sticking out, but the nipples should be covered. And you want to end your final double crochet row, which is this one here, before covering your other nipple, so right before. So basically, if this strap here covers the nipple, this is where the next strap is going to be to cover the next nipple. And at this point, the top is going to look way too small. Don't stress. This is totally normal because the top is going to cup and push up, and it's going to also stretch once the sides are tied. Once you've finished your bust portion and double checked that it is the correct amount of rows that you need for your size, you're going to start the second shoulder strap. Now, to start this, you are going to need to do a little bit of math, but don't panic. This is why I had you keep track of some of those numbers from earlier. So you're just going to need to subtract the number of stitches that you did for your bust area, which for me that was 33, including the stacked single crochet, from your initial starting chain, which for this particular top I crocheted 116 stitches for the starting chain that I very first began with. So I am going to subtract my 33 from my bust from my 116 starting chain, and that is going to leave me with 83. So continuing from where I left off during the bust portion of my top, chain up whatever amount from the calculation. So for me, I'm going to have to chain 83. You're going to go ahead and chain up whatever your calculation was that we just did. And this will serve as the foundation for your second shoulder strap. So I'm going to chain 83. Now that I've gone ahead and chained the required 83 that I needed, I'm going to single crochet in the second chain from my hook and across. And I am going to do this all the way back down the starting chain, continuing all the way down, all the way across this double crochet row, the last one that I did for my bust. So all the way down, and I will meet you there. Once you finish the final single crochet of this row, go ahead and turn your work. You're going to do a stacked single crochet in the first stitch. And you are going to double crochet in the next several stitches until you have the same amount that you did for your bust portion. So for me that was 33. Once you've reached the required amount of double crochet that you used for your bust portion, which for me was 33, you're going to go ahead and chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next stitch. Again, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next stitch, and you are going to do this all the way across this row. Once you've double crocheted in the final stitch of this row, you can actually go ahead and double check that your calculations were correct and that your shoulder straps are going to be the same size on each side by counting the amount of mesh squares starting from here where your bust point cuts off, and you can count the amount of squares on each side to make sure that you have the correct amount. So make sure that the amount of squares on both of these sides here is even all the way to the end of each shoulder strap. Once you've verified that your straps are of equal length and that they're even on both sides, you're just going to go ahead and continue on your second shoulder strap with a single crochet in each stitch all the way across. After finishing the final stitch of this row, go ahead and turn your work. Do a stacked single crochet, and we are going to double crochet across this entire row. After double crocheting in the final stitch of this row, we're going to go ahead and turn and single crochet all the way back down. If you, at the beginning, decided to make a thicker strap, thicker than this one here, then go ahead and repeat the steps of double crocheting up until the bust point. For me that would be 33 stitches including the stacked single crochet. Then do mesh, then a single crochet row, then a full double crochet row, single crochet again. If you originally did that, let's say if you're a plus size maker and wanted to have a thicker strap. For me, I did not originally do that, so I'm just going to continue and not do any repeats in that department. Now I'm going to do a stacked single crochet for my final shoulder row. Chain 1, skip next stitch, double crochet in the next stitch. Oh, I guess this isn't my final row because I will be doing a single crochet row after this. But yep, we're going to do this mesh row all the way down where you chain 1, skip a stitch, and double crochet in the next stitch until you reach the end of this strap. After that, we are going to do a single crochet row all the way back down, and that will complete our second shoulder strap. After you've finished with both straps and the bust portion of your top, go ahead and fold both of the straps over like that with the bust portion facing down against the surface. Now, this is the front portion of the top here. This is what's going to be across our chest area or bust area. This is going to be the back. So now we're going to start crocheting the back. And I usually just do a couple inches below the corner where the shoulders are going to be here, below the straps. I usually just do my back coverage maybe like an inch or two below that. So I'm going to go ahead and just mark that with a stitch marker. And you want to mark it right where a double crochet stitch is, not where a space is, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna put my marker here across from a double crochet post. Then after I've marked the shoulder on the right when it's facing down, so basically you want to work from the right here if possible. When your bust is facing down, mark this shoulder and then reattach your yarn at the bottom of this strap. So make a slip knot, which I have already done. I'm gonna go ahead and just insert my hook. Pull that loop through. All right, and here I am going to do a stacked single crochet. Oh, and double note, for when you attach, it needs to be the bottom inner corner, not out here. This part's already done, we're not working on this anymore, you're working across to fill in the back portion. So when you attach your yarn before you start, make sure that it's on the inside corner of the strap that we previously made, not the outside corner here. All right, now that we've done a stacked single crochet, we're just gonna put one double crochet in each stitch across, stopping once we reach the stitch marker. So I'm just gonna double crochet all the way across until I reach this point. All right, I have reached the stitch marker. And the amount of stitches that you make for the back should be uneven, including the stacked single crochet. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn my work. And I'm just gonna put one single crochet in each stitch all the way back down. After finishing this single crochet, go ahead and turn your work. Stacked single crochet, and we're going to do the mesh row now, which is chain one, skip the next stitch, double crochet in the next stitch, and you are going to do this all the way across. After placing the final double crochet of your mesh row, go ahead and turn your work, and now we are going to do a single crochet row all the way across. And after that, we're going to do a double crochet and then another single crochet, and we are going to repeat this pattern until you have the same amount that you did for your bust portion. This is if you are not plus sized. So I did a total of 9 double crochet rows for my bust portion. Now I am a B cup, so I'm just gonna do the same amount of double crochet mesh rows for my back row because that's not gonna make too much of a difference. So if I'm counting mesh rows as double crochet rows, I'm gonna need 9 total of the double crochet mesh, with a single crochet row in between each of them. So I'm going to need 9 of the double crochet and mesh together. Now, if you have, I want to say, a D cup or above, you are going to want to maybe do anywhere between 4 to 6 inches less than the width that you did for your bust portion. So if you're a D cup, maybe you'll want to do 2 rows less, but you know, the bigger the cup, the less that you're going to want to do for the back row, because that is taking up more space from your whole bust measurement. So yes, for plus size and bigger fits, crochet less rows. I'm just going to advise to take 4 inches from the width of your bust portion. So, you know, if you did like 20 rows, or actually it's uneven, if you did 21, then, you know, subtract however many rows would be 4 inches from that, and do that amount less of rows than you did for your bust. I hope that made sense, but if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments for me. I will meet you back here once I've finished and have reached 9 total double crochet rows, including the mesh for my back portion, because that's what I need. And just remember, it's double crochet row, single crochet row, mesh row, single crochet row, double crochet, single crochet, mesh, single crochet. So basically you're alternating between double crochet and the mesh, but you need to put a single crochet row in between each row. I hope that made sense, but again, if you need any help, don't hesitate to reach out in the comments. I finished my final double crochet row. For me, that was a total of 9 because, again, I'm a smaller busted person, and so I just made the same amount of back rows as I did for my front rows. I did not end with a single crochet row. I ended with a double crochet row because the one that we're going to be sewing it to is a single crochet row, and basically every single row of this top is alternating between either double crochet and single crochet or mesh and single crochet. So we don't want 2 single crochet rows to meet. So we're going to attach this double crochet row to this single crochet row here on the opposite shoulder from where we started. So for me, when I cut my yarn, I leave an end long enough so that I can sew this together. Then I count the amount of squares on my back portion and I line it up with the amount of squares on the opposite shoulder. I'm going to take my darning needle, weave this through, and I am going to sew together the sides. Just like this. And I will meet you once I have completed weaving the back part and the shoulder totally together. Once your top is finished, it should look like a rectangle. This is the back part. Here's the front, and it should have a hole in the center for the neckline. If you're plus size, your bust panel may be larger than your back panel, and that is totally fine. So now we're just going to fold it in half, right side out, and all we have left to do after weaving in the ends and we finish sewing the back seam is to make the side ties. So for me, I just make a chain string for that. You can, if you want to, double enforce this chain string with a row of single crochet on top of it if you want to for extra security. I won't be. I've already completed one chain string and laced it up the side through the front and back shoulder seams. Let me show you how I do the next, and in the video description I will leave how many chains for the strings that I usually do for each size. However, this is totally just a suggestion, and it's going to vary depending on how cropped your top is, you know, not just width but also length. Now, I personally like to count up from the bottom on each side an uneven amount of squares. So I'm going to do 15 because that's what I did for this side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then I slide it through the 15th hole. And you can do however many reach sort of up to your bust portion if that makes it easier for you. Because this area up here is going to be the arm opening, the part that we're not lacing up. Right? Then I'm going to cross them over, and I'm basically going to put them through every other hole. So you see I just went through this one, so now I'm going to skip a hole and go through the next. This is just how I personally like to lace them up, but you can do yours however you want. Same thing on this side, I just went through that hole, so I'm going to skip that one, go through this, and I'm just going to continue that until I reach the bottom. And here is the finished piece. which, as you can see, is adorable for a Valentine's Day top or a fantasy-inspired piece, as I have styled it here. It has stretched quite a bit, even though it looked like a super small top when I first made it, which is why for cotton, which will stretch even more, I recommend doing maybe 2 less rows. So for my bust portion with this, I did 9, but when I use cotton, I'll do 7 because it's gonna stretch a lot, even more than the acrylic will. But overall, I think it turned out pretty well. I hope that you guys enjoyed making yours just as much. If you want to subscribe and, you know, give your opinions in the comments, that would be super cool. I am going to be releasing more top and fantasy inspired tutorials. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I hope you all had fun, and you can hit me up on social if you have any questions, or leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to get back to you. Okay, thank you again. Bye!